Hi, welcome back. Step one of the agenda is the history of the agent in the agency. But first, let's talk about your entry into the office. Nowadays, a lot of people are very hesitant to shake hands. I think it's, well, again, I'm open to shaking hands, but some people are not. So be very cautious when you come into that office. Don't be too bold and too much trying to play the role. Just come in really comfortably and walk in, take a look around, absorb the space, get your feet planted on the ground, just like you would on stage if you walked out for the first time on stage. You like to get yourself grounded. Well, ground yourself in that office. And by the way, when you show up, do not show up on time. There's a rule in business, is that if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. So be early and just sit quietly. You don't even need to tell the receptionist to let them know that you're there yet if you don't want to. It gives you the time just to relax. Take a look at your agenda. Breathe the air that's in the office. Get grounded. So when the receptionist, if there is one, finally introduces you to the agent, like I said, be very careful that they might not want to shake hands. That's okay. If they do, great. Now you sit down. You look around the office, chances are you might see some family photos. It's very normal. You might see some posters that are signed. Could be from actors who they represent. Just to take in the space and enjoy it. Everybody's got a story. And remember, the best conversationalists are the ones who ask simple questions and let people run. Well, agents are human. They've all got a story and they all love to talk about themselves like we all do. So again, remember, your goal at the end of this whole process of this agenda with meeting with the agent is to shake hands and have a new agent. So stop thinking about what you want. You already know that. That's in the back. Play it out. Talk to the agent. Get them talking about themselves. Make a reference about a picture on the desk. Ask them about that. Ask them about the history of the agent, their history and their history with this agency and how it all began. I'm sure it's an interesting story. It rarely is boring. Let them talk. Build that relationship. Learn information. And always, 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 please, 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 please go to a meeting. Bring a pen and a notepad and take notes. There's a saying, a dull pencil has a better memory than a sharp mind. It's also extremely respectful. I was once meeting with a huge entertainment lawyer in Canada named Michael Levine. He's done everything. And every time I'd go to meet with him, I was trying to get him to option scripts, represent me as a writer, yada, 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 give me advice. And every time I met with him, he was sitting there with me and he would be writing while he was talking to me. And every time I went back for another meeting, he'd bring up something that was my dog's name or my girlfriend's name. And that was such a lesson to me. And now the funny part of this story, if you don't mind me segueing, I was on the train one time and this elderly man was sitting beside me. And we were just talking and he was eating and then eventually he asked me about my script. So of course I'm in the business, right? What am I going to do? I'm going to pitch it, of course. So I'm thinking, I'm going to pitch my script. So I start pitching it. But what does he do? He opens up a notepad and he sits down and he starts writing. And I went, I've seen this before. Well, come to find out, this gentleman, whose name is William, went to school with the entertainment lawyer, Michael Levine. They knew each other. What are the odds of that? But anyway, a dull pencil has a better memory than a sharp mind. Take notes, because you'll never remember everything. And that's a huge part of the Active Advantage program as well, is about documentation, documenting everything that you're doing. But anyway, back to point. You sit down, the agent, and you're listening to them tell you about the history of their agency. They might mention the names of people that they know. Scribble them down. Scribble them down. You never know when that's going to come back that you're going to need that information or it could be useful to you both. Be respectful. Take notes. It's better for you. So, as you're taking notes, you're learning their children's names, maybe their dog's name. You might be learning the the nonprofits that they support, whatever it is, take notes. Get the agent talking about themselves. People like to do business with people they like. You want to establish a relationship, a partnership eventually, hopefully. So it'd be nice if you liked each other. You need to take an interest in the other person. I call it human investment capital. You can't ask something of someone if you haven't invested anything in them. It's like putting money in the bank. You can't take money out if you haven't put money in the bank. If you haven't invested, you can't take anything out. Same thing with people. Invest in the people in your lives. Invest in building relationships, which hopefully become great partnerships, and you will never be a starving artist. I'll see you in the next video for part 2 of the agenda, which is your history.